What's wrong with being ugly? Where was your shame, Malcolm?
I didn't have any.
That's a really below-the-belt question,
Of course
actually.
it is.
I've been the length of Britain putting people on the spot about their bodies, their mothering skills, their love lives.
Are you in a relationship?
It's complicated.
Our obsession with how we look. Our infatuation with pets.
Good evening, it's Magnificat's live from London.
The intimate secrets we don't tell anyone. Discovering what really goes on behind closed doors.
Wendy.
Tonight, parenting. Are you really any good at it?
All right. Doesn't baby, should we calm you down?
Should mothers go by instinct or by the book?
It's a bit like how I train my dog, really.
Fathers be hands-on or hands-off?
It's quite a controlling way of life.
You think?
Are single parents honestly up to the job?
Can I come into the madhouse?
I'll see you in about half hour.
I'll also be giving two mothers with very different approaches to parenting the chance to compare their skills.
If my child got to 6 and couldn't read or write, I'd be worried and I'd feel that I'd failed them.
Tonight's toe-curling question. Are you a good enough mother? Are you a decent dad?
Is it try-on time? Do you already know what you want to wear?
It depends what colour you're wearing.
OK.
My daughter Emma's adorable, funny, clever, a fantastic mother, but often very, very annoying.
It looks really pretty on you.
That's wonderful of you.
I look like a pumpkin.
No, you don't. It's fantastic, darling.
Was I a good enough mother from the start? Hardly. While she was tiny, I developed a catastrophic drink problem, and for a few years, my mothering was far from perfect.
It's not wow, is it?
Is it? She can be very tricky. Very tricky. But I adore her, and I know ultimately, you know, she would give me anything and do anything for me.
In my time, there were no poo charts, Mandarin lessons, maths tuition, or any mothering manuals. We just muddled through.
Now, parenting is very intense and can be incredibly micromanaging, and, you know, you're there every step of the way. It's not necessarily better, though.
You're all striving for an impossible goal, which is to be perfect mothers. That's where it's all gone pear-shaped.
Hear this. There is no such thing as the perfect mother. I mean, even if you gather together all the nearly perfect mothers in Britain, they wouldn't stretch across Oxford Street. The question is, what sort of mum or dad is good enough?
What we really need to give our children, surely, is lorry loads of love and take every opportunity to boost their confidence. Well, that's a pretty good start. But how do you get there? I'm on a mission to find out what sort of parenting works and what indeed is plain daft.
In my quest to find some answers, I'm on my way to the Isle of Wight to meet Annie. She's 42, has 7 children, and the 3 youngest all sleep in her bed.
Jonathan Booby, should we calm you down?
Yeah.
Do you want some milk or do you want to get down?
Well, good morning. Hello. What sort of parent would you describe yourself as?
I would describe myself as a gentle attachment parenting.
Which is different to what the majority of mothers do.
Yeah, it's kind of how nature intended it to be. To keep that baby close, to keep away predators, to feed your baby yourself. A lot of people think it's some kind of new age hippie style of parenting, but it's actually not. It's actually just going back to basics without all the commercialised paraphernalia that kind of goes with it.
Yes, attachment parenting means no prams, no cots, no bottles. Babies never leave your breast. Crikey.
Right, do you want to sit on my lap?
Mum,
Yes, sweetheart.
please pinch me.
Okay, will you pinch him? Would you like to say sorry to Freddie?
No.
No, you wouldn't. Okay.
Annie believes the bond between mother and child is sacrosanct.
So is there any time your children are left in the charge of somebody else?
Up until the age of 2, I don't leave them with anyone, even like with my husband.
So what sort of access does your husband have?
From afar.
And what does that afar actually mean?
Making a cup of tea. Lovely.
Good. So, Annie, he is handy around the house.
Yeah, he's quite well trained, yeah.
And do you feel that Annie's way of parenting shuts you out?
No, not at all. Not at all. Babies are babies, aren't they? They just lay there, they cry and they need feeding, so I can't really do too much.
Supposing Sean had disagreed with your way of parenting,
I think I'm a strong enough person that I still would have done it anyway.
and what would have happened to Sean?
If he didn't behave, I would have kicked him into touch.
In essence, the children are more important than Sean.
Yes. Yeah, definitely.
So how do you find time for just the two of you?
Well, we did. We went out for the meal on our own the other week, first time in 9 years, so, yeah.
You can't have sex while you're out for a meal.
No.
No.
Oh, no.
For Annie, attachment mothering, unsurprisingly, means no school. Tiggy 2, Fred 3, Kiani 9 and Alfie 12 all have classes together.
While the two little ones are quiet, I'm just going to show you this technique that I found that will help with your multiplications. Say we had...
Can I do that?
OK, Mummy's just going to do this to show Alfie. So we've got 32 times 14. But I'm going to teach you... Yeah, you can start from the top. Should we just let the kids draw first and then... Look, I'll tell you what, I'm going to lift this down.
Bloody hell,
And then you can both...
This is serious multitasking. You're teaching multiplication and you're breastfeeding another child. How do you cope with 4 children at home 24/7?
I love it.
Do you?
Yeah, I love being with them 24/7. Yeah, I think that's how I thrive.
So the homeschooling is an extension of that.
Yeah, because I get to watch them grow and develop and know that that's not down to some teacher that gets to spend all my children's childhood with them. I get to do it myself.
Do you think you're a good mother?
Yeah, I think I'm a fantastic mother.
Do you?
Yeah.
On a scale of 1 to 10, where would you come?
10, definitely.
10. Your way of parenting is the complete opposite of some child experts, such as Gina Ford, who preaches discipline at every turn.
In my opinion, she's trying to train animals rather than, bring up children.
In her book, it's about making life easier for the mother.
For the mother. That's the thing that I have the issue with, is that, all aspects of parenting at the moment is about what's making life easier for the parent, and it's not actually attending to the child's needs. It's down to me, that's my job.
Thank you very much.
Lovely to meet you.
Too many for dinner. Gosh, her patience was extraordinary. I think Annie probably came out of the womb a fully formed mother, but that chaotic stab at homeschooling, is she really fulfilling her own needs and ambitions? Although, of course, to a certain extent, all parents do. But aren't they missing out on the rough and tumble of having to cope with classmates?
I'd say Annie does relentless, back-breaking mothering. Don't we all love to judge? So, next up, 2 mothers whose chosen methods of parenting couldn't be more different.
Oh, my goodness.
I've asked them to take a deep breath and observe each other's philosophy.
Oh, come on.
This is Charisse. She's 35 and works part-time as cabin crew, but only does 2 shifts a month.
Do I encourage them and do I expect them to give 100% effort? Yes, then I'm a pushy mum.
And this is Corinne, who's 38.
Parenting style, I'm quite laid back, making it up as I go along. Not very good with routines. Right, go over there while we like this.
Corinne lives in Sheffield with her husband Gareth and their 5 boys. Tom, 17, Obi, 6, Wilfred, 5, Arthur, 2, and 11-month-old Frank.
I don't really understand people being very pushy with their kids, filling their days with a lot of stuff. I want my boys to do what they love and to be happy.
Anyway, Corinne's going to pack her bags and say goodbye to Sheffield and take herself and baby Frank to South London, to a home where mothering is almost on another planet.
I'm a little bit nervous, but quite excited as well.
The house is empty, so Corinne has a chance to nosy around.
Oh, wow. So it looks like the children do jiu-jitsu and boxing. Oh, what's this? Home learning timetable. It looks like they're really encouraged to do well at school.
There's also a manual about how this mother does her job.
Welcome to our home. I'm Charisse. Today I think there's too much emphasis on doing okay. I want my children to always give their best. Our days are jam-packed, full of other activities too. They have swimming and athletics, as well as piano lessons. I think the amount they're doing is a bit of a shock. I don't see myself as a tiger mum, I'm a lioness.
Corinne's going to spend 2 days observing the techniques of Charisse, who frankly sounds a bit scary. Then the tables will be turned.
Hello. Hi. This is Frank.
Hello, Frank.
I'm Corinne.
Hi, Corinne. I'm Charisse, as you know.
Thank you so much for letting me look around the house.
Okay.
I can see that you really encourage them, just with the sports.
That's the bottom line. Just encourage them. Really, really encouraging. We're really encouraging and supporting parents. If you just want to have an off day and you want to be lazy, we're not going to let you. That's not going to
That's what I was wondering. If they say they don't want to do something,
that's not really good enough.
Charisse's children are all international jiu-jitsu champions.
I'm just going to boil some potatoes for the tea.
Twice a week after school, everyone is off to training. There's Naya 11, Zuri 8 and Amar 6.
If you look at some of the most high-achieving athletes, Lewis Hamilton, his dad played a huge part in that. If you look at the Williams sisters, their dad played a huge... There's always a parent behind there that's literally sacrificing. And there needs to be, because you don't create an athlete or a high achiever without that support. We're Team Blackman. We actually have a hashtag. Yes, we do. Hashtag Team Blackman. Okay. Let's do this.
It's school pickup time.
We're in a rush. You can tell we're in a rush. It's 3:10.
Jiu-jitsu is at 5 o'clock, but it's in Willesden, North London, 17 miles away.
May I draw a napkin?
On these training days, the children don't get home till 9 o'clock, so the food made earlier is eaten as they travel.
is it good dinner? Still warm? Your mum's genius.
Hold your sister's hand.
The journey involves 2 trains, 1 bus. It takes anything up to an hour and a half.
Heavy as I can't breathe.
3 hours is a hefty commute by any standards.
So I thought she's got the baby. He said don't rush.
So far, Team Blackman have done a 12-hour day.
I am exhausted. The kids are fine, she's fine, but yeah, I'm flagging now.
Corinne and me want to know why Charisse pushes her children this hard.
You know, don't get me wrong, Zuri's going for it now. Can't be bothered. And me and Jules say, I've got a job. I've got a house. If you want these things, you have to apply yourself, darling. No one's going to go, here's a house, here's a good job. They won't. So you've got to make a decision.
I think she wants them to know that in life, if you want something, you have to really work for it and really go for it. I'm a bit more like, yeah, everything will work out all right in the end.
Never mind, laid back or always on the go, both these mothers are doing the lion's share of bringing up their children. Indeed, whatever else has changed, in 75% of British homes, this remains the case. Of course, there are hands-on fathers out there. Is their approach as strong as the mothers we've met?
Go for it, man.
Here's a dad in Wolverhampton who truly takes the leading role.
Very, very good.
Steve and Esther have been married for 20 years. Their 4 children's ages range between 11 and 17.
Hi there.
Hi, Aaron. Hi, Steve.
Hi. Hi. Steve insists on the family spending quality time together.
Why is this important?
I think activities are good, not just for the sake of the activity. It creates space and time.
Yeah.
And I think time is essential for good relationships. We've already had time together this morning.
Doing what?
We actually had time to pray together.
How long do you pray for?
Maybe 25, 30 minutes.
Yeah. And what was the thought?
Around the fact that we carry something of God in our lives and we want that to shine out in the way that we live today.
Rock climbing and prayer are top of Steve's list. How do the rest of the family feel about it?
Bethany, out of 10, how much have you enjoyed this?
I've enjoyed spending time with my family, so I would say 8.
11.
11! Well done.
Steve is a full-time leader in the Church of Nations, and his parenting is solidly based on what he sees as Christian values.
I think the Bible has a lot to say about how parents treat children, how children treat parents, and how society should be. So that becomes my kind of guideline in the way that I'm parenting, whether it's around character, morals, integrity.
And where does obedience play its part?
I think obedience is very important. It's a form of honour when somebody asks you to do something and you do it without kind of giving lip back.
Steve's unbending doctrine has resulted in hugely respectful children who are almost angelic around the house. But what about Esther? Where does she fit in?
If someone were to observe you and say, well, Steve seems to call all the shots in this family, what would you say, Esther?
I would say that he does lead this home.
Yeah.
He holds to firm boundaries, and I'm really pleased that he has. Because early on, if I thought he was being too harsh with one of our kids, if they're having a big tantrum at 2,
Yeah.
I'm so grateful that he held the line and was firm, because now the behaviour is fantastic from the kids. And we've realised that if you can discipline them when they're young, as they get older, they're a delight. I trust Steve. I think he makes good decisions and good choices, and I want to submit to that.
Would you call yourself an obedient wife?
I'd like to think I am.
Really?
I'd like to think I am. I find real freedom in just submitting to him.
OK, this is not a modern marriage. Might there be any popular 21st century influences under this roof?
The children, have they read Harry Potter?
Have you read Harry Potter?
No one around this table has read Harry Potter.
No. The nature of the book, the magic element, was a little bit of a put-off area. I am reading a book at the moment.
And what's that about?
It's like a biography of 2 people that are missionaries and gone to Cambodia. It's just inspirational, really.
No teenage rebellion here. This family remains entirely committed to Steve's teaching. How does he manage to avoid mutiny and door slamming?
Well, it's called date time with Dad, but with the boys now we call it a boys' night or boys' evening or boys' time.
Yes, once a month, Steve spends one-on-one time with each of his children. Today, it's 17-year-old Beth's turn.
How would you describe your relationship with your father?
It's very close, I think, compared to a lot of people I know.
So if I wasn't here today, what would you two be chatting about?
Because university is so much on the table right now. Conversations around university, conversations around what she's feeling, what she's thinking.
And Steve, how realistic is it once Bethany goes to university and is in this mix of new friends whose values will be very different?
Yeah.
I mean,
I think they'll be tested. She won't just be left. You know, I will be praying for her, but I think she's smart enough to make right choices.
And do you have rules about sex before marriage?
We believe that sex is best within a marriage context. And we've taught that to our children.
I think it's just there's something special about waiting, and I don't think I'm at an age to decide I'm going to marry this person. So until I realise that, then I'm not in a place to have a boyfriend.
It's quite a controlling way of life, Steve.
Do you think?
Well, it could be interpreted that way.
Okay. I guess it's how you define control.
Yeah.
And whether control's wrong or bad. If it was abusive, if it was manipulative, I would agree it's wrong.
How sure are you that your way is right?
I'm not. It just seems to be working right now. I love my kids, I love what they're becoming. If somebody showed me a better way, I'd take it.
I think it's fair to describe that as a single-handed iron grip on family life. Not to squeak out of any of them. I mean, unlike the rest of us, Steve never has to deal with angry teenagers. But what chances are there of those children developing their own thoughts and ideas?
Anyway, after that dose of father power, let's see how our mother's swap in South London is doing. All Action Charisse, remember, is showing laid-back Corinne her way of parenting.
Morning.
Good morning, Frank.
Good to say hello.
It's 6:15 and Charisse is off to the gym with 11-year-old Naya to do a training session.
I'm used to the early start, not being so up and active.
Come on, let's go. Just do them, Nia. Come on. Keep going. Faster. We're doing 3 sets of 15. Go. 1, 2.
So, how many times a week does she do it?
This is 3 times a week.
Okay.
It's only about an hour. And then generally on the days that she does this, she'll go to the gym, she'll do training in the evening.
Okay.
I know my daughter, I know her limitations, I know we have that relationship and I can guide, I can encourage her in a less kind of pressured way. See, she doesn't even break her sweat. You want to row and I'll start stepping? Okay.
It's quite intense, what she does.
Do you think so?
It really is.
God, I sound like a nutcase, don't I?
I think that just from my point of view, I couldn't imagine my eldest doing this.
But then I suppose if you'd seen how she competes, it kind of ties in. You can't make a cake without breaking a few eggs. Trust me, they will thank me. 5 minutes, do some sprint rowing, and then we'll just do some sprints and we're done, okay?
After the workout, Nia has a full day of school ahead, while Corinne has been allowed a bit of a breather.
Is that fun? Is that fun? It's a really weird thing because it's all promoting really positive attributes in them as children and as adults. So I can see the benefits, but at the same time for me, I think I want my kids to just have a childhood. I want them to play and enjoy themselves.
On top of their homework, they do extra maths and English every day.
You know that instantly. Yep.
Today, George, their father, is in charge.
Oh, what have you forgot at the beginning?
£7.
Yeah, that's it.
And after maths, it's French.
Est-ce que c'est un problème ou une solution?
Problème.
Ah bon? Tu as appris ça quand tu avais 2 ans. Merci, madame.
So the kids do a lot with school and sports and everything, but also then they've got tutoring on top.
Yeah.
Do you ever feel like that's too much for them?
I just don't think that's even a question. How can you encourage someone too much? Maybe that's too arrogant, I don't know. They're never getting out of the tutoring. But the training...
That's too important to you.
Doing well at school is really, really important. Well, to them, really.
Corinne has chosen to be a full-time mother, unusual these days when 3/4 of all mothers have a job. I was an unashamed career mother with plenty of hired help at home, exactly the same as my mother had been, and out of the ordinary for her time and mine. And gosh, was my way met with disapproval. Nowadays, of course, the ambitious career mother is commonplace, the only difference being that it seems to come with an enormous amount of guilt and an absolute desperate need for perfection. So how easy is it to have a successful career and still be a good enough mother? Can you really have it all?
Great, and so this is Felicity and Christopher Kane.
The front of the book
Yes.
on the sweatshirts, yeah. They're brilliant.
Lorraine Candy is editor-in-chief of Elle UK, one of the world's biggest fashion magazines. She has 4 school-aged children. Her full-time job includes travelling to international fashion shows, sales meetings, advertising budgets.
Hello, Lorraine.
And, of course, decisions about what goes into each edition of her publication.
For autumn-winter, there is a lot of spring, summery type colours. Pink is a colour, baby blue, there's a lot of denim, and there's a lot of velvet.
How did she juggle all that with 2 teenage girls and a 4- and a 6-year-old?
What are you missing out during the day?
I do miss out on things. All working mums miss out on things. I miss out on, sometimes on a sports day. You know, often the one big meeting you have a year happens on the same day as the thing that your 12-year-old really wants you to be at, and it's very difficult to make that decision.
Does it bother you more than her, do you think?
Yeah, I think it bothers working mums much more.
Lorraine has been an editor-in-chief for more than a decade, crucially, all through the early years of her children growing up. She was back to work 3 months after her first baby. Has that been hard?
Society tells us we have to feel guilty about those things. And actually, my husband has never been asked if he feels guilty about having a full-time job. I've worked really hard. I don't want to give that up. I'm happier being at work.
Lorraine has the enviable advantage of plenty of hired help and a very modern husband.
Very hot, be careful.
There's a full-time nanny, and James, who's in IT, often works at home.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
Are the children happy about this setup?
Your mum is fascinating because she has this incredibly high-powered job. I do wonder how she does it.
Well, she does often come home, like, tired of things. You know, not to
Annoy her.
How would you annoy her?
Or if you ask
If you ask someone, say, Mum, where's this, where's that, can I have this?
Don't talk to her as soon as she comes in the door.
Yeah.
To give it
Really?
50
To
minutes.
greet her.
Yeah.
Well, so you need your radar, don't you?
Exactly.
Yeah, you need to know when she's not in a good mood.
Does watching the way Mum works and how successful she is, has it shaped what you want to do, you two?
Yeah, something like to do with fashion because it's like quite inspiring.
But she just kind of edits fashion and just looks at fashion, whereas I want to like create it. And I do a lot of fashion drawing, so I kind of want to become a fashion designer.
Typical teenagers, never knowingly impressed by their parents.
Hello.
Does Mum not get a kiss when she comes in?
No, she usually goes straight for Mabel.
Oh, that's because she gives me a kiss.
I'm told there's a 10-minute rule when you get in.
Well, just because you come from work with all this stuff in your head and you need to change and usually put my pyjamas on and be mum.
Who's the boss?
Mum. Definitely.
I was going to say mum as well, actually, but yeah.
I'm in awe constantly of the things that she does and the work and how she managed to fit everything in.
If we were to take a vote on a working mother or one that was at home, which would you prefer?
Working mum.
Grace?
Working, yeah.
Definitely working.
Ah, interesting. A Harvard study claims that the daughters of working mothers end up with more successful careers and are better at relationships.
Go on, get ready.
Are you a good mother? Out of 10, what would you give yourself?
Oh, I don't know. Some days I'm a 10, some days I'm a 2. It just depends on the circumstance.
Is she a good enough mother?
I think she's a brilliant mother. I think she's fantastic. I think the kids that you've met them, they're happy.
But I think, I can't stress enough, it's not easy. Everyone's experience is different. And I really feel for women who don't have as many choices.
Where's your major guilt as a mother?
I don't feel that giant guilt because I refuse to feel that giant guilt because I'm living a happy life, they're living a happy life. That's the life they know, that's the life we know. And we're really lucky that we've managed to make that happen.
I've had a lovely day. Lorraine, thank you very much.
OK.
Cheers.
Lovely to meet you.
I suppose the question is, Lorraine, with a lucrative job and a highly supportive husband, is she a good example of having it all? Well, yes, up to a point. Although I suspect secretly, even she at times can be found paddling fast underwater. But for me, it shows you can work full-time and still be a good enough mother.
It's changeover day on the parenting swap. Will tiger mum Charisse think Corin's way of mothering is anything like good enough?
Really intrigued to know what she does so differently. Suspense has been killing me.
Charisse, you're about to find out.
Come to the woods for here is rest.
She's got the house to herself to pick up clues.
Ooh, walkie-talkies. Oh, wow. It's all kind of like ropes and outdoor things. I'm thinking very kind of one with nature, definitely.
And like Charisse, Corin has spelt it all out in her handbook.
My husband and I are both trained as forest school leaders, and we have based the boys' early years education on this philosophy. Forest school? Oh. Countries such as Denmark and Finland, children start their formal education at 7. The children are given lots of opportunity to get on and play without much interference from us. OK. I do believe that children should start learning very young. She's going for a more nature-based approach. Hello, Corinne. Hello. Hello.
What are we going to do? Go to the woods.
Okay.
We're all ready to go with all the stuff. Did you see all the stuff on the table?
Yes, I thought we were going hiking. There's walkie-talkies and everything.
Obi Wilf, and I've got Obi Arthur.
If you go down in the woods today, you're sure of a big surprise. If you go down in the woods today...
Corinne's 5- and 6-year-old have no formal education whatsoever. Every day instead, the trees call.
Do you have like any kind of lesson plan, or is it just you kind of bring them out and let them kind of...
Yeah, we just bring them out.
Do that. Get on with it, basically.
Yeah.
Okay. There's no like kind of structured kind of set of...
Sometimes come with an activity in mind. Quite often they're not interested in doing.
And before anyone gets smug about this sort of schooling being unhelpful, let me tell you that studies show that daily outdoor play promotes physical and emotional well-being in kids.
So how about with like reading and stuff? I saw... You know, do they do reading?
No, we're not doing reading and writing with them yet.
Okay.
But Obi, once he's 7, which is October, we're going to start a bit more formal.
Will you start like phonics and things like that?
I'm not sure, actually. I'm not sure. I need to look into it a little bit more.
Okay.
I haven't thought about it a great deal yet.
So what made you decide to do it differently with Obi and Wilf and that?
I really do like the fact that they get lots of time to play and learning through play. And I think sometimes learning through play is misunderstood in teaching terms because it tends to be we're setting up this play situation that you're going to learn through. Whereas I think if you leave them to play, they learn an awful lot just by exploring
themselves,
their own world around them.
So I'm guessing you probably thought we were a bit kind of concentration camp style in our house. Hour of learning every day, maths, English, handwriting lessons.
I saw it and thought I just couldn't do it. I'm too disorganised. So just success for your kids, is that an economic success, do you think?
Not necessarily an economic success, but I just don't want them to be denied opportunities.
Okay.
I'm acutely aware that regardless of what generation I am, which is the 2nd generation, my children are always going to be viewed as immigrants.
Really? You think?
Massively. And the opportunities for them won't necessarily be there unless they are at a certain standard and a certain level.
That makes so much sense.
Does that make sense? I don't know if I could base their whole early years education on just going to the woods every day. If my child got to 6 and couldn't read or write, I'd be worried and I'd feel that I'd failed them.
This way.
FaceTime. Hi, Mummy. Guess what, Zuri? Corinne is a forest school teacher.
Is she?
Yeah. And her kids don't go to normal school. They just do forest school all the time.
And what do they do in the forest?
They just play and...
What? They go to school? Can we move to Sheffield?
No, we're not moving to Sheffield.
No, Mummy, love you. Mwah.
Love you. Put Daddy on the FaceTime now, please. Hello?
What were they like?
They homeschool their kids, but they kind of follow the whole forest school approach, just kind of letting kids be kids, kind of being at one with nature and...
So they're not formally learning the alphabet?
I don't think so, no. It does start making you think, just like I'm there thinking, oh, my kid's getting out enough. Are they at one with nature enough? So then I'm thinking, well, how do we get them at one with nature?
Most new mothers start off not having the foggiest idea about babies, or indeed what to do next. Alas, this has spawned a huge industry. There are now more than 35,000 books and 1 million online forums handing out advice. But are gurus a hindrance or a help?
Some breakfast.
It's 7:50 a.m. in Wimbledon, and like thousands of parents across the country, Christina needs to get her 3 kids ready and out of the door.
We're going to have some shreddies.
Maxie 8, Bella 5 and Ellie 2.
Yummy, yummy.
Their dad is flying around the world as part of his job, and that leaves Christina flying solo.
This is Anne, this is Maxie, this is Eddie.
Hi. Just how does she go about it?
What I did is to actually write down every single day exactly
what the schedule is. In the school time, we keep to this really quite rigidly.
7:30, brushing teeth, cleaning toothbrush, lid on the toothbrush, tidy sink, brush hair.
So we need to be out of the door at 10 to 9, and we have to drive off at 5 to 9, and I'm really specific what time we leave.
We are observing a military operation learned from the queen of routine, the childless author Gina Ford.
These are the Gina Ford ones, as you can see, very much used. She was my guide when the babies were babies. You know, she literally says 3:30, change the baby's nappy. She just gave some structure, and I found when I followed some of those, actually it had some results.
But we haven't stopped with Gina. Oh, goodness me, no.
So everything from raising boys, how to talk so kids will listen, and listen so kids will talk. You know, when your kids push your buttons.
I'm not sure even Waterstones has this many parenting guides.
Mindful parenting, simple and powerful solution for raising creative, engaged and happy kids in today's hectic world.
And your mother didn't have any books to read, did she?
She did. She had Dr. Spock. That was the only one they had back then.
I remember Dr. Spock. His advice, don't worry, and if you are worried, take the baby to the doctor. Christina, meanwhile, has cherry-picked parenting methods from all over the shop.
So this is my pasta pot, and as you can see, it's very much used.
Why would it be a reward to have dry pasta?
Very good question. Because when this pasta pot fills up to the top, the children can exchange it for either baking time with myself, or for an additional 30 minutes television time, or for an outing. So, for example, now we're planning an outing to Chessington. So the idea behind it is that everybody's really motivated, and we don't have any sort of meltdowns first thing in the morning whilst we go to school.
It's a bit like how I train my dog, really, because there's incentive all the time.
It's yes, absolutely, but it takes about 6 to 6 days for a new habit to kick in.
They're in pyjamas at the moment.
Yes, so the next thing we're going to do is get them dressed.
Oh, I'm waiting to see, because there'd be no dawdling or anything, will there? It would just be like that.
Well, I don't know, we'll see. Can you show everybody how you put on your top? Can you do it? Do you want to take your pyjama, put it under your pillow, make your bed and get a pasta token? Don't forget the pyjama. And then 1, 2, 3, zoom to the bedroom.
And how consistently effective is this reward system?
That's very good.
Also, where do you go when the pasta pot doesn't cut the mustard?
We don't do punishments. Well, Mama tries not to.
So how would you calm down?
I'd use a method that my mum made up. It's called EBS.
And what does EBS stand for?
Emotion, breathe, and solution. So you have to tell your emotion, and then you have to breathe.
Yeah.
And then you have to try and think of a solution.
I hope we're all paying attention.
I'm going to put shoes and jackets on, and I'm going to give pasta.
To be fair, it takes just 15 minutes from pyjamas to shoes on. It's hard not to be impressed so far.
Look, did everybody eat well at the breakfast table? Yeah. Yay! 1 pasta token each. Making beds, 1 pasta token each.
But that's for everybody.
That's right, because you don't want them to be in competition with each other. So the idea is that we work together as a team to fill up the pot.
Obviously, the pasta pot gets in the car with the rest of us. Christina's first stop is Ellie's nursery.
Right, come guys, we don't want to be late. Come, Ellie.
But oh joy, I get a taste of what happens when pasta power runs out.
What's the matter?
So what's happening is that Bella's feeling a little bit sad because she feels that Maxie is not her best friend anymore. What were you feeling?
Upset.
You were feeling upset. And what else were you feeling?
Really annoyed.
You were feeling really, really annoyed. Do you want to ask Maxie what happened?
Well, I was kind of telling you off because whatever you were doing, it wasn't very good, and I didn't want that to be on the TV, and because you might be embarrassed or something.
Oh, okay. And is that what upset you, Biba? Okay. Could you have used a different tone of voice?
Well, it wasn't a mean tone of voice.
Oh, okay. So Bella Boo, he was just worried about you. What would you like Maxie to do? Do you want to cuddle? Aww. Are you feeling better, Biba? Yeah?
Great. That wasn't in the schedule, of course.
No, if I hadn't done that, that might have festered. So our whole day might have been derailed. As opposed to now, it's taken me 5 minutes.
Yeah.
It's sorted out, they're friends again, we can continue.
I'm exhausted and I was only watching. Is all that negotiation necessary? Fine if you're in conflict resolution in Afghanistan, but in Wimbledon, I'm not sure it wouldn't be easier just to shut a few doors and go and pour herself a stiff drink.
I'm going to do it the right way.
This one, Tom.
They've got better skills with a knife than I have.
In Sheffield, it's day 2 on the second leg of our parenting swap.
Do you boys like cooking with Mum?
Yeah.
Unconventional forest schooler Corinne is making lunch with her boys for Tiger mum, Charisse.
A little bit more around here.
They're going to make very good husbands.
Yes, practical life skills are all part of Corinne's holistic approach to education.
I mean, obviously they're doing the home ec side from like this age, but will they get to try all the different things they try in secondary school?
Yeah, I think they will, and I think part of our job is exposing them to different experiences, because they're never going to know they're interested in something unless they're exposed to it.
And I agree with that.
And so going to, you know, museums and art galleries and I'm trying to think like historical places, you know, and then they might find, oh, actually, I really love history.
Okay.
Because at the moment they love dinosaurs and they love nature. Yes. So they know loads about dinosaurs, they know loads about animals, but there's some other areas that they don't really know. Anything.
What do you think about in terms of, you know, later on they won't go into formal education at any point? What do you think about when they obviously want to then go out on their own and get a job and that?
Yeah, well, they hopefully will want to go to uni. Yeah, it's not out of the question.
And in preparation for Oxbridge or wherever, today we are visiting an animal farm.
Chickens!
Bye-bye, piggies. Oh, he's got like a freeness around the animals. It's lovely to see. It's amazing to see. No, it really, really is. So would you do anything afterwards? Like, would you go home and maybe let them draw pictures of animals and things like that?
So, yeah, we'd draw some pictures maybe and we'd talk about the animals.
Charisse's stay is nearly at an end, and after 4 days of seeing each other's parenting techniques, what have our mothers learned?
I love seeing all the sports and things the kids do and how active they are, and that made me think, even though mine are active, it's more in a climbing trees, moving way. So I think it'd be interesting for us to look into what sports the boys could do.
Okay, that's good. I'm glad to hear that.
How about you with yours and how you do things?
We've got like a little woods not far from us and like a little nature trail and stuff, and I definitely think during the holidays now, I will pack up the kids and think of Corinne.
What's your aim for the kids? What do you, like your children when they grow up, what do you want for them?
I want them to just be confident, self-sufficient, independent young adults that kind of, you know, that are happy.
What you've described is exactly what we would say for our boys. Ultimately, we both just want the same thing for our kids.
That's what I thought.
It's amazing.
How you get there
exactly.
doesn't as long as you get there.
Yeah.
They both want the best for their children. Both have a strong, uncompromising way of mothering.
Bye-bye.
But what about parenting by the seat of your pants? This is Bushey in Hertfordshire. I'm meeting a family on their way home from school.
Are you there?
I am. Hi, guys. Now, I can do this. Tiffany, Michaela, Timmy, Charles, Thomas. Tommy, got it. What's happening?
Home time.
Tommy has been a father on his own for the past 5 years. He's one of 2 million single-parent households in the UK. Almost 1 in 10 is headed up now by a single dad.
The madhouse. Can I come into the madhouse?
Right. And then I'll see you in about half hour.
All right.
Managing 5 children, all under 9, is a hefty enough task for 2 parents, never mind doing it alone.
Did you always want a big family?
I always wanted 11 kids until I got left with 5 of my own, and 5's plenty.
Are you happy bringing up 5 children on your own?
I'm happy, yeah. It's not easy, but it's doable.
What's the biggest challenge?
Getting them to be quiet when I'm talking to someone is quite a challenge.
Tommy doesn't have a shelf full of parenting manuals. He's learned on the job. Including his approach to discipline. He says he's tried all kinds of ways. Currently, he's testing a 5-step warning system.
Michaela was bullying Tim out of school today, so that would be a step 1. Yeah. And I've
been good.
And that's if you're good, you're on having a good day?
Yeah.
Is this working well for you,
Didn't work,
Tommy?
no, it works at school, doesn't work at home. So we go
What have you moved on to?
I'm making the kids write lines. First offence was 100 lines, second offence was 200 lines, up to 500 lines. That was complained about, so we gave up with that.
So what are you doing now?
We've tried smacking. I don't like smacking, but sometimes you have to.
Are you back to smacking?
Yeah.
And if somebody complained that you shouldn't be smacking, what would you say to them?
I don't think there's anything wrong with a smack, but there's a difference between a smack and a hit. You know, I teach karate. You know your own strength. Yeah, come here. I'm going to smack you anyway. It's like that. It's just
Do it to me, and then we basically play karate.
See? But they like it.
It's not yet illegal to smack your children, but the subject's divisive. One government survey suggests our views are about 50-50.
Right. That's it. Break the computer.
Impressively, Tommy doesn't believe in easy options, no iPads, phones, or any screen entertainment on tap.
So can I sit down here?
Yeah, you can sit down.
Okay. Right. How much television do you watch?
Hardly any.
We don't usually watch any TV.
Do you mind that?
Yeah, no, I don't mind.
because I don't really like TV.
Because I've got loads of stuff upstairs I'm interested in.
What are you doing upstairs?
Tommy doesn't supervise homework or push them academically, yet 9-year-old Tiffany and Thomas, a year younger, are in the top sets for all subjects.
So all this is yours?
Yeah, all of this.
Yeah, and what's in these books down here?
They're my school books.
School books. Can you work with all the noise?
Not necessarily, no.
No.
That's why I usually have the door shut.
They can't come in until you've done your writing?
No.
Do you think when you grow up you might be a writer?
Yeah, so I have been published.
Have you?
Yes. But this was published for poetry. That's the one I wrote.
Great Britain is the site of the slow-moving London Eye. Great Britain is the sound of the noisy chiming of Big Ben. Great Britain is the smell of sweet grass in green meadows. Great Britain is the taste of salty fish and chips. Great Britain is the feel of soft sheep's wool. Well done. And you're only 7 then?
Yeah.
That's very good.
Get a table out, please.
I'm endlessly surprised by this family. The children play up at times, but all of them also muck in and help out their dad.
So you're doing mashed potatoes?
And Tommy makes a point of cooking their food from scratch, and the family always sit down to eat together.
Ever since I've had the kids, I think they've been to McDonald's once.
No, Dad doesn't like it. It's unhealthy.
Tommy does agency work that fits around the school run, cleaning or working in school kitchens. His wages plus benefits means the family of 6 get by on about £300 a week.
Thank you, Dad. Can we have more mash after?
If you eat it all.
Do you do a weekly shop?
No. Well, today we got the sausages from a food bank, so we go to the food bank every week. Most of the stuff you get is on its sell-by date or it's out of date. Like the fruit and the veg, it's not very nice. But the meat joints that we get are lovely, because it's nice to be able to give them a roast dinner on a Sunday.
And tell me, are there rules about eating?
No, as long as they eat it all,
And what if they don't eat it all?
they'll be sitting there till they do.
Really? So every single plate has got to be clean?
Instead of television, Tommy's found his own way of keeping the children amused.
I thought I'd bring Oliver up first. So.
This is Oliver.
Yeah, who's this? That's Anne.
Okay. Hello, Anne. Hello, Oliver.
Is she real? Yes, she's real.
I'm glad to see you've got red hair like I have.
Oh, no, it's lovely.
He longs to set up a business as a party entertainer, but for the moment, it's just something the family enjoy together.
Go.
Oh, Charles, come here. It's bedtime. Brush your teeth, go to bed, go to sleep.
It's not bedtime.
I think it is.
I'm enchanted by Tommy's hit-and-miss regime. His children are cheerful, noisy, happy, and trust me, bedtime means bedtime.
Go to sleep.
You know, the influence of a mother is thought to be so important. Do you feel they're missing out, not having?
Nah, not at all. I've always thought it was important to have both parents there, but they never mention, they never talk about that.
Do you think there's a difficulty? You've got 2 daughters and they'll reach puberty. Do you...
Well, actually, Tiffany's at the age where it's time to start asking questions. So I actually, Thomas has already got a book and Tiffany's now got a book. And I said to her just the other night, if you've got any questions, come and talk to me. And then yesterday, we still had Michaela up, she was just throwing puberty and pregnancy at me. And started, right, we'll talk about that when the others aren't about. Again, you just have to deal with that. When the girls do get boyfriends, that's fine. Bring them round. And when they come in, you've got all my karate belts on the wall, and you've got all my photographs, my medals and stuff, and they go, oh, I'm not going to mess her about.
What do you want for your children in the future?
I want them to be happy, and that's key. I think that's more key than anything else. I'd like them to do well, but I'd never pressure them. I don't push them into anything, because I'm not a pushy parent. I mean, they're confident. I think if I was pushing and pushing all the time, they wouldn't build the confidence the way they have.
How would you describe your sort of parenting?
They run a loose, tight ship. That doesn't make any sense. But,
yeah, that's a lovely way of putting it.
But yeah, I suppose I make up as I go along.
Are you a good enough father?
I think so, yeah. Well, they're all still alive.
Thank you very much
Anne.
indeed. Well
Right,
done.
you take care.
What I found refreshing about Tommy is that, unlike so many others, he doesn't treat parenting as a competitive sport. Yet his tearaways are bright, engaging, confident. They even write poetry. What Tommy teaches me is don't fret the small stuff. Relax, enjoy, stop striving for perfection.
Who knew there could be so many different ways to parent, each mum or dad convinced their way is best, and impossible for us to judge whose children will turn out to be the happiest and most secure.
What it actually shows is there's probably no right or wrong way. Is your best good enough? Mine certainly wasn't.
Next week,
excuse me,
the extraordinary obsession we have with our pets.
What's the point of a cat?
They're a bit sassy, like you.
Our bonkers devotion to creatures.
I will never settle for any love from anybody that is less than what the rabbit gave me.
Steady, steady, steady. No.